What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I want you to hit that like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit them notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. Salute to the whole entire Lions Den basketball and as well as boxing communities, and salute to all of the people that rock with me too. Um, I had a couple of things on my mind, so I definitely got to get this off my chest. I appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy, but we definitely got to talk about this now. Um, as you know, it is Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. It is his B day today. Um, a shout out to the brother Too Raw for TV too, because he had put that uh, on a post and everything. But um, those of y'all that have been rocking with me for quite some time and have been rocking with me for a long time, y'all know that uh, Hakeem Olajuwon is my GOAT center. Okay, I mean at that position, because like I said, I I rank everything by position. Okay, I don't just go by, oh yeah, overall GOAT and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But Hakeem Olajuwon is my my starting center. Okay. Now I know people question it. You know they bring up, they ask me questions. Why is Hakeem my starting center? What does he bring to the table that many of the other centers over the course of history did not? Now, first off, let me be clear. If if I had watched more of, say, like Wilt Chamberlain, watching what Wilt Chamberlain used, seeing the film of what he used to do, I would have probably had Wilt Chamberlain as as my starting center. But I think it's unfair for me to do that simply because I had watched more of Hakeem. I watched him, I would say, a little bit at his apex. I grew up watching him at his apex. And it's crazy too. I, I, I like two things about Hakeem, okay? Now, this is when I was a kid, man. I like the fact that, he wore the goggles, you know what I'm saying? And I said I only knew one other person that wore goggles, or a couple of other players that wore goggles. That was Buck Williams, of course, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then of course James Worthy. But I was like, man, he made the goggles look kind of cool. And then also, I don't want y'all to laugh, and I'm talking about when I was a little kid. All right, his name stood out to me. I thought he had a dope name, Hakeem Olajuwon, because it was kind of like Olajuwon. But that wasn't when I was a kid. That's what I was drawn to. But I did like his play, and I followed him more and more, and that's what drew me to him more and more. Of course, you had the Shaquille O'Neals, you had the Lonzo Mournings, you had other guys who I watched coming up, Patrick Ewing and all them. But I appreciated Hakeem, and as I was able to do my research on Hakeem, when I was quite younger, I found out that Hakeem, man, um, he had struggled for a long time, but people got to realize that he had made it uh, to the finals in his young career. Okay, they just fell short. They fell short to the Boston Celtics, unfortunately. And also, I know that Hakeem he gets a lot of criticism um, based off the fact that he missed the playoffs in his career, and he also had some shortcomings and stuff. But I give props to Hakeem. You know why he didn't run. Um, Matter of fact, he didn't play for another team until later on in his career. Of course, the Toronto Raptors would not. But he stuck it out in Houston. Now I know he was infuriated at one point in time with the Houston Rockets because he wanted the Houston Rockets to do something for him. He was really trying to win, but he stuck it out, and of course that was players' mentality. They wanted to stick it out for as long as they could. But how could you blame him for feeling the way that he was feeling? It was much like with Barkley and the 76ers. You know what I'm saying? You get to a point where you're sick of losing, and you're not going to surround that franchise player with the talent that needed to be surrounded with in order for them to get that ultimate goal, which is winning the championship. But having said all of that, Hakeem Olajuwon could control the game defensively. Okay, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Wemby is because Wembyama can control the game defensively, and also he can control the game on the offensive end too. Okay, Hakeem Olajuwon is able to utilize. He's able to play in the half court as well as the full court too. And people got to understand that he was an exceptional college player too, especially over there. With Five Slammer Jam and the Houston U of H, the Houston Cougars or whatnot. But Hakeem, I know some people they go back and they look at when he was playing David Robinson and all of that, but Hakeem was way, way, way more athletic, man, especially when he was younger. Like when he had played um, David Robinson, don't get me wrong, and I'm talking about it was the game where he had something to prove, where he had absolutely destroyed David Robinson uh, in the Western Conference uh, finals or whatnot. People had to understand that coming into that game. Of course, David Robinson was the MVP, and I like David Robinson too. Don't get it twisted. I like David Robinson too. But to me, if you would have gave Hakeem the weapons that David Robinson had, and I'm talking about early on, I felt like Hakeem would have been more successful than a lot of the centers that we see playing, or that we saw playing or whatnot. Like if you take off, and this is no disrespect to Patrick Ewing, but if you take off Patrick Ewing, and you put Hakeem on the New York Knicks with the team that he had, I can almost guarantee you that the New York Knicks would have gotten a championship, and that's just my opinion. Um, that's why today you have a lot of players. Yeah, some people will go to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Some people will go to various other centers and get their workouts done. But you have pretty much everybody that's going to Hakeem Olajuwon in the off season. I mean, and that's guards, forwards, and centers. And to this day, he's still being able to be a a teacher and a mentor and give people the tutelage that they need in order to have skills necessary to be successful in the NBA. Um, I find it fascinating too. Now, the other day that Scottie Pippen was on. Patrick B. David. You said salute. My favorite center. Who, Hakeem Olajuwon is your favorite center? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought it was Sam Perkins, Steven. I thought that was your favorite center. But I didn't know that, man. But yeah, he is. He's my starting center. But what I was saying about Scottie Pippen being on Patrick Bet David is, people got to understand that a lot of people were grilling Scottie Pippen and cooking Scottie Pippen because of the way that I guess he felt about Jordan, right? And I think I saw a comment. It said that, well, he had the audacity to feel the way that he feel about Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan picked him up on his starting five, right? And I was like, a lot of people didn't know that Michael Jordan. He said he'll run with Hakeem. Hakeem is his starting center. You said Kareem, Moses, Parrish, Sam Perkins, and David Robinson. Okay, but you just said that you had Hakeem. So where's Hakeem at? you just said you had Hakeem as your favorite your favorite center, but now you have Kareem, Moses, Robert Parrish, Sam Perkins, and David Robinson. That's five. So you're gonna have to take out. You got to take out one. Okay, but you said that. Okay, okay. So we're gonna have to go back to what you just said. Okay, I'm not gonna let you get away with that. Hold on. You just told me that Hakeem is your favorite center, but you have him at six. So which one is it? Is he six or or your favorite? Because I mean Hakeem number three. Okay, so which one is it, man? Because that's still not number one. That's not your favorite. Steven, come on, man. You got to. Is it interchangeable? Like, well, I got to know this. Cause yeah. Let you start over, man. You got to. Come on, man. Get it together, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like one minute you got Hakeem. You know what I'm saying? You got him number one. Then he went over to number six. He wasn't even in your top five. So no, I'm just messing with you, man. But you know, like Michael, even MJ, he picked Hakeem as his starting center, and that just goes to show you, the skill set that Hakeem had possessed. You said Hakeem, Sam Perkins, Parrish, Kareem, and David Robinson. Okay, yeah, that's your list. That's your top five. But you said that's your favorite though, so I'm guessing what he's number one then. But either way, man, they were all great players. I mean, Sam Perkins was, he was. I'll say he was better in college. You know what I'm saying? When he got to the NBA, he didn't quite pan out to the Sam Perkins that we knew when he was at North Carolina. And I don't know. I don't know. I got to talk to you about this, Stephen Green. You said that Sam Perkins was a Hall of Famer, but I disagree with you on that, man. Sam Perkins was a solid player. He made some shots, but Sam Perkins is not a Hall of Famer. Now, if if you take college, he could possibly, because we are talking about basketball. Not, but he didn't play at a Hall of Fame level. You never listen. Was Sam Perkins ever an All Star? No, he was not. Okay. Was he ever on All NBA team? No, he was not. Did he ever lead the league in the categories that big men usually lead them in? Did he ever lead the league in field goal percentage? No, he did not. Did he ever lead the league in blocks like Victor Wembanyama is doing twice? No, he did not. Has he ever led the league in rebounding? Has he ever been top five in rebound? No, he has not. And scoring, he hasn't been in top five in scoring. Much less has he received any type of award. He wasn't a perennial All Star, right? But he didn't even start though. Okay, and he wasn't the main player on his team. Making it to the finals twice, that doesn't give you a Hall of Fame bid, Steven. And I'm talking about as an individual. I mean, he was good. Listen, you got to put your personal feelings aside with some of these players. If you feel it, like I think that Terry Porter was phenomenal, but I know that Terry Porter is not a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? I thought that Rod Strickland was the man, but I know he's not a Hall of Famer. Sharif Mahmoud Abdul Raouf. I thought he was killing, and sometimes I think that he should be in the Hall of Fame, but the reality of it is that he's not. You understand what I mean? It's just so much more. You got to put that in its proper perspective. But I don't. Sam Perkins, and I like Big Smooth. That's what they used to call him, Big Smooth. I like Big Smooth, but he was better in college. You said Rolando Blackman. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he was definitely a really really good player, especially with the Mavericks. It's something about you and the Mavericks, man. You like you really like the Mavericks, like Roy Tarpley. God rest his soul, friend of the family too. I thought he was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So did and of course Mark Aguirre. That whole Mavericks team they used to have. Rolando Blackman, but and Derek Harper, but none of those guys were Hall of Famers. Now, if Mark Aguirre Hall of Famer, but if you're talking about like okay, let's say Jamal Mashburn was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career, but unfortunately injuries kind of, it kind of depleted Jamal Mashburn. You know, Jason Kidd, we all know what he did. He said when I was a kid in the '80s, they showed the Mavs game. Oh, they showed the Mavs game more on TV. Yeah, they did. But see, so there's a little bit of biasness there. That's what it is. That's where the bias is coming in, Steven. That's where the bias is coming in. But like I said, man, he's not a Hall of Famer, man. I mean, he was really good in college. Maybe if we got to see if he did enough in his college years, but Sam Perkins is not a Hall of Famer. Good player and everything. That's like, I mean, hell, that's like saying Popeye Jones is a Hall of Famer. Popeye Jones was a really physical player. You know what I'm saying? It had some, gave you energy and stuff like that. But he's not a Hall of Famer, man. You know. But could he thrive? I will say this though about Sam Perkins. What's up, Ted? I will say this about Sam Perkins though, and now that we're talking about like the Supersonics and stuff, because that they're trying to bring the Supersonics back. Gary Payton, they have made an announcement that they're going to bring the Supersonics back. But I'll say this though, Sam Perkins, if he was to play today's game, Sam Perkins would be very successful, especially with the 3-point shot because he was that stretch five, and he was water. You said Brad Miller was good, but not. Oh man, shout out to Michael Cage. I've seen Michael Cage when I was a little kid too, man. That dude was big, but nah, he's not a Hall of Famer though. Nah, Michael Cage, man. I saw Michael Cage when I was a little kid, man. Supersonics, man. Yeah, he came in my city, man. Man, that dude, man, he like, man, Michael Cage like 6'10", something like that, 6'11", something like that, man. Big black dude. He used to have a, yeah, but he's not a Hall of Famer though. Not a Hall of Famer. I mean, you know, you gotta be. I don't know how could I say it, man. Like, see, yeah, he played for the Cavs, but he, like I said, man, he's not a Hall of Famer. Like when if you got to sit here and you got to wonder if that guy's a Hall of Famer, you know, like okay, you talking about Sam Perkins. Has he lit up any of the centers that he played against? You know what I'm saying? Like with Hakeem Olajuwon, you know automatically he's a Hall of Famer because he dominated Ewing. He dominated Shaquille. He dominated Alonzo Mourning. He dominated David Robinson. Everybody that he faced up with. I mean, he dominated Mutombo, his African partner. God rest his soul. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you could say, okay, who's my top five? Top five in what? I don't do that. I don't do that shit, man. Like I don't do all that top five shit. You know my channel if you've been rocking with me for a while, because that shit right there. See, I'm gonna do a top five roster. I'm gonna do a top, a 12 roster. But my starting five, okay, my starting five on position wise, okay, and I've said this to you time and time again, okay. Man, he was a center. He played both of them. Sam Perkins, when he played with the Supersonics, he was a center. You know what I'm saying? By then, he was a center, and he also played. He played power forward and he played center. When he was out there with Worthy, more than likely he was gonna play center. But like I said, my top five it ain't changing. I got Isaiah at the one, Jordan at the two, uh, Larry at the three, Dennis Rodman at the four, and Hakeem at the five. It's not changing, man, unless somebody at one of them positions, man, just absolutely destroys that guy at that position. But I don't do all that. Oh yeah, the top five players of all time. I don't do that shit because I believe you play in different positions. It's just like okay, with the small forward position, you gotta think. I can't really compare. I think it's unfair to compare Larry Bird to Michael Jordan when they played different positions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Simply because Larry he had a different assignment. He had different things that he had to take care of with the Celtics as opposed to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, and this is another thing I want to say too. I think I saw something. Gary Payton was capping, man. I want to say this about Gary Payton. Gary Payton was capping. Gary Payton said that uh, LeBron was a better all-around player than Michael Jordan. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Michael Jordan was a better all-around player than LeBron. Okay, all around includes defense. All around, like okay, rebounding. Michael Jordan, if you really want to be honest with you, he honestly was a better rebound. He was a rebounding guard. You know what I'm saying? Like there were times if he wanted to rack up on assists and do all that other stuff, he could do that too. You know what I'm saying? Like if he wanted to get a triple double and do all that stuff, he could do that shit too. But Michael Jordan, he bared a lot of the responsibilities, man. They threw him into a situation where all the guys was on drugs on his team and stuff like that. But for us to sit up here and just automatically say that LeBron is a much better all around player and all this other stuff, no, that includes defense too. Guards Kevin Johnson, Maurice Cheeks, forwards Chambers, Charles Barkley, center. Okay, that's your starting five, man. I'm pretty sure it's gonna change next week, Steven. You probably gonna have somebody else because I don't know. Sometimes, man, I can't even take that seriously, man. First you had Hakeem at you had him as the best, and then you put him at number 6. But it don't take nothing away from what LeBron has done. But I include defense in there. LeBron didn't start getting good with his defense, man, up until he made it to Miami. Now, was he a slouch? Was he absolutely horrible on defense? No. I'm not gonna sit up there and say that about LeBron, but he wasn't no lockdown defender, no shit like that. Um, Speaking of that though, I gotta, I gotta talk. We gotta talk about D'Lo, right? First off, let me give a shout out to Two Raw for TV, and also give a shout out to Brandon Love Sports. They had talked about this situation. D'Lo was not the problem in L.A. D'Lo wasn't the problem in L.A., man. D'Lo was not the problem in L.A. D'Lo was not the problem in L.A. Um, since D'Lo has left, the Lakers are 4-5, and the problem with JJ Redick. First off, you demoted this dude to the bench. Now, has D'Lo had his ups and downs? Yes, he had his ups and downs. Of course, you remember I cooked his ass when that situation happened when they played last year with the Nuggets, and then also there was some times when he made some questionable decisions in terms of him playing. Yes, absolutely, um, he deserved to be cooked and everything. But this is what we got to realize that when D'Lo left the Lakers, he was at a plus. He was like at a plus 49. LeBron James, he's like at a negative 140 something. And I know that hurts your feelings. Like, see, you got to understand, man. When you're playing around this dude, you're on eggshells. You're on eggshells, and so I'm glad that the brother Tura for TV and Brandon Love Sports brought that up because I have been saying that for a while now. What was the reason for you trading D'Lo? There was no reason for you to trade D'Lo. I think that was more on a personal level. Now the Lakers struggling. Now they're not struggling like the Sixers are. You know what I'm saying? They're not struggling like us, but they're not doing as good as they were when they had Darvin Ham. And listen, if JJ Redick don't make it to a Western Conference Finals, listen, uh, he should be gone because Darvin Ham was able to make it. What excuse are you gonna have? All that stuff about we're having some growing pains and all this other bullshit. I don't want to hear that shit because y'all got the same core that y'all pretty much had last season, with the exception of a few pieces or whatever. And then the fact that y'all got rid of Quincy Oliveri, I thought that was foul. You know what I'm saying? You should have kept him. But what do you want to do? Y'all want to appease your king. You want to appease your king, and then you don't listen. LeBron wants to be try to be heated at Rob Pelinka. Listen, Rob Pelinka, does he deserve a lot of the blame? Yeah, but LeBron can't be mad at nobody but himself, man. You was the one up in there, man, trusting Jeannie busted wide open and trusting Rob Pelinka, and then you want to bring uh, JJ Redneck, whatever you want to call him, man. I adopted that from Tura. You want to bring his ass up in there and don't know how to keep his composure. Skip all that. You know. So D'Lo is not the fault of what took place in LA. D'Lo is he can't be the poster child for the struggles that's happening in with the Lakers. And that's why everybody steadily is cooking D'Lo. So I'm glad that D'Lo's doing good over there, man. Now, has D'Lo been perfect over the course of his career? No, he hasn't. We know the situation that happened with him and Swaggy P. We know the situation. As far as Iggy Azalea and all that situation, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But he was young. You know what I'm saying? But he still made a mistake, and I don't think people have forgot about that. But I don't see the Lakers being successful in the playoffs. They're not going to beat Houston. They're not going to beat OKC. They're not going to beat Memphis. They don't stand a chance with Denver. They're not going to beat some of the good teams. And I believe if the Warriors were to get their shit right, because the Warriors, they trying to climb back up a little bit before the break. I don't even see them beating the Warriors. Hell, I don't even see them beating the Dallas Mavericks. Even though that the Dallas Mavericks, are without Luca and everything like that. Eventually they'll be back, Luca and Kyrie, but I don't see them beating them. I don't. You said Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Wilt. Okay, you said Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Wilt, Bird. Jordan, Wilt, Kareem, Wilt, Bird. So there's another Wilt, Ted. I didn't know we had Wilts. I didn't know we had two Wilts, man. Oh, Russell. Okay, okay, all right. You got Wilt on there twice. I was like, damn, you really love Wilt, nigga. Like he said, look, I'm gonna put Wilt. I'm put Wilt at the point. I'm put him at the shooting. I'm put it. Nah, fuck that. I got Wilt, and Wilt. He said, yeah, I'm gonna put him at point guard. I'm gonna put him at shooting guard. I'm gonna put him at center. I'm put him at power forward. Nah, he can play all five positions. This is another thing too. Wilt and Wemby comparisons. While I'm on it, okay. Um, there are some similarities, but there's a whole hell of a lot of differences between Wemby and Wilt. Uh, the comparison though is that we had never seen anything quite like this from anybody before. When we talk about Wemby, I mean, you could say Bo and everything, but Bo hasn't been successful. Wemby has been successful. But the thing that I loved about Wilt when I watched him, I'm talking about on film. Wilt would handle the rock. A lot of people don't know he could handle the rock. I like to see a guy. You got a guy in Wilt 7'1", 7'2", flying up the court as fast as he was, being able to handle the rock. I mean, he was a good for that time. Okay, for that time, he was a good ball handler. You understand what I mean? Hell, he was a better ball handler than Kareem and all this other. He could do it all. Take rebound coast to coast, bam. You know what I'm saying? But he was a team player. Outlet pass you wanted, he could do it. Baseball pass you wanted, he could do it. Overhead pass you wanted, he could do it. Led the league in assists. So there are similarities when you talk about Wilt and when you talk about Wemby. Wemby could pretty much do it all. That's why, like, y'all sit up here, they were probably saying, what is this big guy doing handling the rock? He's not supposed to be doing that. You know, he's supposed to be like Bill Russell. He's supposed to be like this guy, all this other stuff. But you gotta realize he ran track. You know what I'm saying? This guy did pretty much all the sports and stuff. He was just a natural God given athlete, big, fast, and strong. But that's what I see in Wemby. Wemby can block the shot, and he's running down at 7'3", 7'4". Bam, you know what I'm saying? Then pulling up, you know what I'm saying? Now, Wemby, is he is he the scorer inside that Wilt was? No, but I believe that if he had that mentality, I've said this before. If he had that mentality to just feed me the ball, feed me the ball, feed me the ball all the time down low, and just clearly just dominate like he wanted to, I could see Wemby getting like 80 points, maybe, and that's just pushing it 90 points. But he's not a selfish player like that. Not to say that Wilt was a selfish player, or nothing like that. But he's not a selfish player like that. He ain't self. He loves to feed the ball to Vassell, and he loves to feed the ball to Castle, kick the ball out to He likes to get the ball to Sochan and them other guys that's on San Antonio. But Wemby can handle the ball. Like, you got to look at the different generation. Wemby, you know how they talk about he got a bag. Well, for that time, Will Chamberlain had a bag. I'm talking about for that time. You know, nobody was doing all that stuff because the rules were very different too. You also got to realize, man, you had to keep the ball low. If you brought the ball up, um, and you put the ball like how they carrying and all that other stuff right now, man, all that stuff that they doing right now, they'd have caught carry on a lot of these guys. Like, you know, the rules were a lot stricter back then because they wanted you to be very fundamentally sound. And Wilt was able to keep the ball low, still get it to where he needed to go and everything, and be successful at it. So for his time, he was a great ball handler. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're looking for me to say, oh yeah, Wilt could handle the ball like Kyrie, or handle the ball like Steph Curry, or handle the ball like CP3, of course not, because it's a different generation. But for that time, they had never seen no shit like that, and they never seen a guy, you know, being able to score at will like that. Being a guy that was 7'3", or I'm talking about it, 7'1", 7'2", and being as athletic as he was. But I'm not gonna choose Wilt as my starting five simply because I didn't get a chance to watch him live. You know what I'm saying? And in living color. And I think a lot of these guys, they'd be like, oh yeah, man, well, I got this guy and I got that guy, and you ain't never seen him play. You saw film on him. To me, I think it's a big difference. It's a big difference. But I question it, but I don't get mad at guys if they choose a guy that they watch in black and white or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Um, I just wanted to talk my little ish about that, about Wilt, and Wemby, and of course Hakeem. Happy birthday to the great Hakeem Olajuwon. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications too. Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball boxing community. Till then, man, I'm out.